Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Solutions with Courtney Anderson. I am your hostess, Courtney Anderson. Today we are premiering a new series in the show, and the series is The Joyful Art of Business, Entrepreneur Expose. Today we have a wonderful opportunity in our Entrepreneur Expose, which is all about the reality of entrepreneurship, owning a business. What is it really all about? And we have a fantastic interview scheduled with Miss Barbara Largent. Barbara Largent is the proprietor, the owner, and the very successful beauty industry expert in Las Vegas, Nevada, U.S., and she owns a salon called the Baroness Salon. So she is someone that, full disclosure, I found for our show because she's someone that I personally am a client of her business. Just an amazingly talented beauty expert, and we're very, very excited to have her for the first of this series. And of course, the series, the Entrepreneur Expose. The whole idea here is what's really going on with your business? There's so many myths and ideas that hold us back from being able to successfully transfer our goals for business ownership into reality. And a lot of it has to do with the confusion, the myths, the mysteries about, what's happening. What's going on, and what on earth are we going to do to be able to be successful with our dreams? So this is an expose because, certainly in everything that I do, pragmatism is, the most important thing. And the goal that we're really focusing on is how are we going to be able to make things happen, and what are the things that we're really going to be up against in living these dreams? So we have this opportunity in this series to have different types of entrepreneurs who have achieved success in non-traditional ways. Because a lot of times we get sort of stuck on this idea that, look, I can't be successful. I don't know anything about running a business. I'm too frightened. The whole thing is overwhelming. And the reality is, it's not that overwhelming. If you have the tools that you need to be successful. So, again, what we're focusing on is having the reality exposed of what we need to be successful. And this series is going to be all about, sort of pulling back the mystery and seeing what can happen. When we deal with an entrepreneur. It looks like our guest is here. It looks like our guest has joined us. So again, everyone, this is the first of our series in our Joyful Art of Business Entrepreneur Expose. And our guest, again, as I was just sharing with you, our guest is Barbara Largent. Barbara Largent is an incredibly successful veteran of the beauty industry, and she owns her own fantastic salon here where I'm based in the U.S. in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, this salon, as I just shared with you, is called the Baroness, and it's actually located, for those of you who are local to the U.S. or are coming to Las Vegas, beautiful Las Vegas, Sin City. For those of you that will be coming, her address physically is at 4401 East Sunset Number 1. She's in Henderson, Nevada, which is actually just part of the Las Vegas area, and her zip code is 89014. I will repeat that again, 4401 East Sunset, Number 1, Henderson, Nevada, 89014. She's located at a very impressive business section in town, and she has a salon right there, and the salon, again, is the Baroness Salon, but everybody online, everyone in the world can go to thebaronesssalon.com. That's thebaronesssalon.com. And Baroness is spelled BARONESS. So thebaronesssalon.com. Barbara Largent, 20 years of experience in the beauty industry. As everyone knows, we always care about pragmatism in our programs and everything that we do here. So, Miss Largent, first of all, thank you so much for being our first guest Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Well, this is very exciting, and as I was sharing before we started with you here to share with our listeners, that one of the things that stops us from being successful in business is we think we can't do it. And we think that, people like us or people from where we're from in the world don't do things like that. So this is all about kind of pulling back the mask and the mystery and telling the real truth. So one of the things, Ms. Largent, if you could tell us a little bit about the process that you went through and the most difficult or challenging thing in starting your successful business that you didn't expect. Tell us the thing that kind of was shocking and surprising to you, because you thought, I never would have even worried about this, but it was an issue. So again, this is a commercial business you have. You have a physical business in a fabulous part of town, and your salon, the Baroness. And we want to know just what's that thing that really was the most difficult thing that surprised you?
Well, I honestly did not have any difficulty getting into this building, because when I met the landlord, when he met me here to show me this space, he judged me upon seeing me. So I did not have to jump through any hoops. My only hoop that I had to jump through was getting out of my former lease, but because I had a good relationship with my former landlord, he let me out of the lease no problem. So from seeing the building that I wanted from the beginning to opening my doors was only 13 days.
Wow.
Just because everybody cooperated.
Wow.
And that was very surprising because, usually it's supposed to be something that people think is so complicated, but it really isn't. You just do it. You just do it. You see something you want and you just make it happen.
Wow. Well, I want to just repeat that again because, Ms. Largent, first of all, you're very, very busy, and we were so grateful for you to arrange your schedule to join us today. And one of the things that you said there about just do it is so powerful. Now, you have over 20 years of experience in the beauty industry, which is very competitive, and you've been incredibly successful. I shared with everyone prior to you joining us that I am a client, and that's how so full disclosure, that's how I know. I know you're just a fantastic business person, and as a client in your salon, you have such a diversity of clients. I've seen everything from, you have young children. I've seen you work with everyone up to seniors. I've seen you work with every different type of hair texture, every type of skin condition. And I've just seen that you have such an amazingly dedicated client base. One thing I don't want to embarrass you, but one of the reasons I was so excited to have you as our first guest is I've been in your salon on more than one occasion when another client is either leaving or coming in to the salon and has said, I've heard them say that they will go wherever you go, so that when you are in your new location that you've opened on Sunset at 4401 East Sunset, number 1, Henderson, Nevada, 89014, that you were saying before this that you'd have your business in different locations. And the amazing thing is your clients follow you. Your clients just go with you because and again, the reality is you're the best. Now, I don't want our listeners to think, oh, it's that easy that they can have that success in 13 days transferring to a new salon location. You have a reputation, and your clients, of course, come with you. One of the things I want to ask you, Ms. Largent, because, again, phenomenal business. I want everyone to go to the Baroness salon.com, and I have to tell you that Miss Largent is an amazing businesswoman. She has everything from the logo, her marketing pieces, the way that the signage that she has for her business, all of it, the branding is fantastic, and we'd have to talk about that probably at another interview opportunity. But Miss Largent, one of the things that I really want you to talk about to our worldwide listeners is the idea that that non-traditional success and non-traditional business people, we exist. So you didn't necessarily go to a formal university program, and you have your licensing and credentialing through the beauty industry requirements. So you had to successfully complete your education requirements and then get licensed. But that's something that's open to a lot of different people who might not necessarily want to go to traditional four-year university or have that experience. I would like you to talk a little bit about just to help our listeners get motivated. Talk to us a little bit about sort of the most successful financial either month or period to kind of give us an idea of what one person can do, and I think you've even shared with me a little bit that you don't always work a full-time schedule. So just to give us just one of your more successful financial periods so that our listeners can really understand, look, you don't necessarily have to go to, MIT or Harvard and become an engineer, and work at a big company to be successful. You can do things that maybe you never thought about if you apply amazing business success. So, Ms. Largent, not to put any secrets out there, but just give our listeners a ballpark idea. Again, you are a very successful, so this is not something that's going to happen day one for someone in their career, very successful business person in the beauty industry, and you use a traditional beauty training and licensing approach. Like, just give us an idea of sort of the bigger numbers that someone could expect in your business.
Well, I mean, first of all, you don't start off. Yeah, I mean, you don't start off making a lot of money. You have to build up. I mean, I've been in this 20 years, so when I first started, wage was like minimum wage, like $3.35 an hour, and plus I was on commission. But I quickly, my first job at JCPenney's, I quickly made the All-Star and stayed on the All-Star list for the last 5 years I was there. I was there a total of 8. So, I only work part-time. I've always worked part-time. I don't want to ever not be in this business. I don't want to burn myself out. So for me, 20 to 30 hours a week is good for me. And in that amount of time, I mean, you can make up to $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month, depending on
Wow. Hold on, Miss Largent, I'm sorry. There's a couple of things for our global listeners I want to explain. JCPenney's is a global retail brand, a U.S.-based company, and they do have within, it's a retail store, and often they're in shopping centers or large malls, and they have within their beauty salons. Miss Largent, you said a couple of things. Let's start at the big expose part. Wow, part-time. With the experience that you have as a beauty expert, so hair, skin, nails, imaging, you do a lot on imaging, helping people get ready for television performances or speeches. You've helped me prepare for television shooting pilots and for big speeches I've given. So you're amazing at that. But part-time, you've gotten to the point with your skills, your business acumen, organization, timeliness, client management, that part-time in a very powerful month, you can earn $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. I want our listeners to hear that. I want them to understand. That's somebody.
I mean,
tradition.
You can. I mean, I'm not a bargain stylist, so the quality of my work warrants for me to, charge a little bit more. I don't charge that much more, but I'm reasonable. But I mean, that being said, I mean, I also do.
Miss Largent, as a client, and again, I want our listeners to understand. Many of the people that we interview in this series are going to be very humble because that's just the nature of somebody who's a hardworking person. And Miss Largent is incredibly humble, but she is one of the best, literally in the entire business. She's here in entertainment capital, Las Vegas, Nevada. Like I said, she has styled and prepared me for big speeches I've given, and she's also prepared me for shooting television pilots in terms of my hair and makeup. She's an incredibly successful person, so of course she's not, at this point in her career, she charges, and her schedule is very selective. As many of her clients are long-term clients, so she's being a bit humble. But this is someone who's at the she's continuing to grow in her business, but she certainly has achieved a lot. I want to quickly highlight a couple of things that Ms. Largent shared. It's the same thing I've shared in so many of my speeches and programs with people throughout these years. I also started minimum wage, and must have started similar to the time Ms. Largent did. Minimum wage, $3 an hour, $3.85 an hour, and I worked in fast food and all these types of things. And so you don't start at the top. You work your way up. Ms. Largent sharing that same exact path that I've been on and so many people have been on. And one of the things that as a client, of course, I want the same that I provide for my clients, the best. And certainly when we look at our styling and the way we present ourselves professionally, it matters. And when we do things like television or public appearances, so having someone like Ms. Largent who's got this elite level of ability to style and also to treat.
Right.
One thing I do encourage anyone, if Miss Largent has a very busy schedule, the Baroness Salon is like I said, her clients are long-time faithful clients, so it's hard to get in. I know that she's always available to talk to someone and see if they'd be a potential customer, but she does an amazing thing of approaching beauty as a long-term process. And so I'm going to just embarrass myself, Miss Largent, because the first time I I was fortunate enough to get in to see Miss Largent, and I'll be totally honest, I had not been really going to a beauty professional. I'd moved from one part of the country to Las Vegas, and I had not really been taking care of my hair. And so Miss Largent, in a nice way, explained I had serious split ends. I had split ends, and for those of you who maybe aren't into the hair, thinking, what? If your hair starts to get a little bit longer, for a lot of people who might have short hair, or some of our people might have a buzz cut, but for people who grow your hair out, as your hair gets longer toward the ends, if the hair is not taken care of correctly, if it's not maintained, the end of it will actually start to split off and sort of fray, like the end of a rope, maybe, if you can imagine. And that's what had happened to me. And Miss Largent is so serious about her business. It's not like, oh, it's a one-time customer. It's a relationship. And so she wanted to start a relationship and was just honest with me and started on a process of hair care, of treating, of trimming and doing everything she needed to. And now it's really amazing. So one of the things that Ms. Largent, you were sharing with all of us that I want to give you a few minutes here to talk a little bit about is, what are some of the perks? What are some of the benefits to you? Now, again, started out in the beauty industry, minimum wage, worked in a large company, was a star performer there, and then earned your skills and worked your way up to being your own salon owner. What are some of the perks of owning the Baroness and being in charge of, to a certain degree, your own schedule, your own pricing, and tell us a little bit about some of the good things that come out of
the
point that you're in your career right now.
You name the perks. I mean, you really get to just be the conductor of your own life. Like, I don't have any stress issues. I work what works for me and my clients. Like, whatever works for them works for me. We work together. They're my bosses, if you will. So just being able to take off when I need to take off, which isn't very often. I don't have to call in and ask somebody if I can stay home because I'm sick, or if I need to go to my grandson's birthday party. Like, I don't have to ask anybody for that. So the perks of just being your own boss and being independent, I mean, that's priceless in itself because you're the conductor of your own life. So for me, that's the most important thing because, I mean, I have worked so hard sometimes where I don't have time with my family, and I really quickly realized that, money isn't everything. It's great. I love this industry. I do well in this industry, but it's not everything. Family is also important too. So, and friends and, a social life. So I make time for everything. I balance my life so that I can do this for as long as I want to do it. So to me, that's a huge perk.
Wow. Again, I want really to share with everyone, we are going to be rolling out some different programs and a series about some of the things Ms. Largent talked about. In fact, the entire purpose of the Joyful Art of Business, that entire institute that we founded, and some of the things that I've been working on is about exactly that. What's the point of it all? And it can't be money, because at some point, sooner rather than later,
exactly,
that you need more to a life. And so, Ms. Largent, I have to. Because I've been a client since I've moved to Las Vegas of Ms. Largent, and I must say that I've had the pleasure to meet some of her family. She really does, in her entire life, the same way that she treats her clients of the Baroness Salon, which is of course thebaronesssalon.com. The same way she treats her clients. She's so organized. She's always timely. She has such an attention to detail. She makes everybody feel so special, and Because she has this expertise. Again, as she shared, and we talk about a lot in our programs, is you have to know your worth. So certainly, because of the value of what she does, she has to make sure that it's appropriately represented in her pricing. And her clients, I know for myself, I'm grateful. I'm grateful every time that I'm fortunate enough to have found someone that's talented. And that the beauty industry is like so many other industries. There's a lot of people who aren't talented, and they're just, you have one bad experience and a horrible haircut or something, and you're scarred for a couple of years. But Ms. Largent, our time is coming to the end. I would ask you to consider joining us for some future shows, because you brought up so many really good points about balance. I also, in the future show, and if we have an opportunity, would like you to share with people a little bit more in the future that you've done this on your own. Ms. Largent has a wonderful family now, but she, like many of us in life, has had challenges and didn't have a family that maybe was able or to provide her with hey, here's a lump sum of money and go out and open a business.
Right.
She's worked and created her own success, but we'll explore that later. Ms. Largent, as we move toward the end of this episode, I would like you to talk a little bit about your future goals, because one of the things I think is so important is this. You've attained incredible success, and your clients are so loyal. Again, you have so many diverse clients, all different ages, all different types of hair texture, all different types of ethnicities, all different types of skin conditions. You're so able and versatile. You treat so many different types of people, because the key is helping them look good. So whether it's a 45-year-old guy, or it's an 80-year-old woman, or a 15-year-old teenager with all different types of hair and skin conditions, you're just able to use your expertise. I know that you're constantly going to industry events. You're learning new skills, whether about hair and skin. I know that you're considering either expanding some of your online business services and maybe moving into letting people around the world be able to do maybe a web session with you, where you could maybe look and do an assessment of them over the internet prior to them coming to Las Vegas. A lot of people come to Las Vegas, but before they come, they want to see if you'll accept them as a client, if they can book an appointment ahead of time. So can you talk also just a little bit about, you're so successful, it seems like you could just sort of, quit now, right? Like, do what you do. But I know that you shared some things.
I don't want to.
What keeps you going? What keeps you going?
Well, for me, I just never get bored. I don't get burned out, and I don't get bored. And if I do, I just, being a cosmetologist, I can do anything. So if there's something that comes up that's the new trend, I can just learn how to do it, and I can add that onto my menu. So I don't ever get bored. And I do all types of hair. I specialize in all types of hair. So yes, I don't turn anybody away. I haven't met a challenge yet that I have not met. If I do, I will figure it out. Me and the client together, because I do have relationships with all my clients. So that's most important to me. I don't just do, somebody one time and don't do them anymore. I just want that relationship, because I want them to be in my care. So, moving forward, hey, the sky's the limit. I don't limit myself, nor do I say something I will or won't do. If it comes up, I want to do it, I just do it.
I want to make sure, Ms. Largent, we're coming toward the end of our time. Please stay with us for just a minute, but I want to just make sure I can wrap up our show. Miss Barbara Largent, who is owner, proprietor of the Baroness Salon. I am a client and very pleased. It's a very exclusive experience. Ms. Largent is selective, so she's going to work with the client who wants to work with her, because, like she said, she does care. She's investing in the long-term outcome, and so she's not necessarily going to be the best for anyone who just sort of wants a one-off experience. But if you really care to your hair, your skin, your future conditioning, professional styling and imaging, like I said, she's worked with me for television appearances and my speaking engagements. She's incredible. Again, Barbara Largent, we're coming to the end of our show. I want to invite everyone to come always to CourtneyAnderson.com. Barbara Largent is, again, the Baroness Salon. She's at thebaronesssalon.com. Ms. Largent, thank you so much for joining us today. You have reached so many people around the world, and I am just honored and so proud to have you as the first guest of our Entrepreneur Expose series. Thank you so much for listening and joining us. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, Barbara, we're off the air.
Okay. All right, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.